That it's party time? All right, everything is up and ready to go on the YouTube as well. I'm going to go grab a drink, but otherwise I'm ready to party, homie.
Yep, so I guess here we gather in preparation for Nvidia's earnings. In the meantime, feel free to ask questions about whatever. We don't have anything planned per usual. Just ask whatever. Someone needs to get some new batteries. I'll meet you. Yeah, market trading basically at session lows.
They faked out people trying to ride shorts several times earlier, too.
Yeah, I mean, like the net premium. Ooh, I guess we're going a bit lower here.
Yep.
The put premium was positive all day, but like it was pretty much flat. I mean, there wasn't really much play, so like I don't really think that there was really people positioned. I mean, maybe at the end of the day here, when it's going up, they might be positioned for a little bit of a downward move, but like during the day, I don't really think that people were looking for anything. I mean, like people didn't even budge really when this happened. But anyways,
I
Nvidia
was watching where the hell is this? Where's this at? There we
slight
go.
move of 5.6%, give or take.
I've been watching this. I think I'm sharing my screen now. It's just sharing your screen, but so everyone can see, not just the YouTube folks. I've been watching that SPX level at 5,900. The GEX, the massive positive GEX that's been here pretty much all damn day, just chilling without much fluctuation at all. They kind of bashed their head against it, bouncing off of it like 15 times on the 10-minute time frame. And they finally lost it. They lost it with gusto. And right back into a new low now here on SPX. So I'm curious to see if they can bounce back above that, or if we're not going to get any more fireworks beyond this dip into close until we get some Nvidia numbers.
Yep. I think I saw someone say that they don't report till 4:20 or something like that. So, in market news today, what positions have I been tracking? Let's see. The new weeklies, some decent volume here. I didn't see any pumpers on Twitter. I searched Twitter for new mentions, but I did not see any of the usual suspects. So. Not sure. I mean, it looks kind of pumpy. I mean, pretty high volume, and these are only going for like $8, $9. So I don't know, but other big new flow from the other day. The 13C August saw a 13,000 size candle here. Following session saw 14,000 new open interest. So this large trade held overnight, and open interest is still quite high. Moving on, U is getting some pretty strong social media chatters today. It's going to be interesting to see what the OI on the 30 strike Jan calls is tomorrow. Like, honestly, there is a world in which like it doesn't do anything. Like this could be not real flow. They could just be like buying, selling, buying, selling. I don't know. We'll find out tomorrow. Open interest could be anywhere from like it could be 15K, it could be 60K. Who knows? We'll find out tomorrow. What other flows are there? GME, the 40-50 June spread was closed today. Here's a look at the 40 leg. The 40-50. Let's look at the 50 leg. Here's the 50 leg. Sell to open, buy to close. If you guys missed it, GameStop this morning came out and said that they bought like 4,000 Bitcoin or something like that. But the news is being sold. It's like this big 32, what was it, 32.36? Like he's still holding. But who knows if they were actually even bullish to begin with. What else was there today? I think they bought to close the Tesla 320 short puts expiring June 13th. Back on May 19th, we had a size candles, this 7,600 size candle. And lo and behold, a very similarly sized candle today. So I expect we shall see the open interest decrease on these tomorrow. I think that's the only flow, only updates on flows I was already tracking. What about changes in open interest? What about changes in open interest? So yesterday, I mean, there was a decent amount of the Tesla 400s traded yesterday with a steep amount of increase in open interest. So it's possible that they held all of them, but obviously not doing too hot now. I mean, there's a lot of big Tesla calls that I just don't think are really bullish. Like, let's see here. We got the 440 Julys. Like, yeah, sure that they're up money from their entrance. They're up like $2, $2.50 since the entrance. But like the day of, we have this activity in the morning on the day of was opening. This was closing. We know that because there's not much of a change in open interest. If it was all opening, if this 42,000 or a bulk of it was opening, we'd see a much steeper increase in open interest, but we don't. So we know for a certainty that these were scalped intraday. If you guys have been in the server or follow me on Twitter for a few months now, you guys have maybe seen some of these big Tesla calls that, yeah, they happen. Yeah, sure, there's millions of dollars going, there's thousands of volume, but like I don't know if they're not actually, it's not actually flow really. Like these 440s that I just mentioned that they went in and out of. They went in here, they went out here. These same contracts, they went in. So they went in for like 3,000 here. You can see the change in open interest. Then they closed those. You can see the change in open interest. Then they went in them again, and then they closed them, and then they went in them again. That like they're just going in and out of these. I don't actually think that they're bulls necessarily, but it gets people's attention for sure. I just don't know that they're bulls. What else do we got? Uber 95.
Well, since we're coming up on the
Yeah.
close real quick, and I'm getting some heat from the YouTube chat for not looking at it. I'm got on my screen, to those who are hanging out in the Discord, if you switch to me, I got the NVIDIA earnings history on screen right now. So obviously the main question is, what do you expect? I'm not much of an earnings player, but I do expect a move one way or the other. Partially because, I'll zoom in right here, this NVIDIA expected versus actual move. If we look past to the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 earnings releases, they have fallen within the implied move 4 of those times. All right, we got a hot mic. Let me shut that bad boy off. 4 of the last 7 times they've gone within the implied move. But if you would recall, even though they were in their implied move, this time is 5.72%, as dictated by options pricing and implied volatility. The market moved pretty dramatically every single time NVIDIA reports. The market likes to follow suit. Now, the biggest offender outside of the implied move in recent times was Q1 of last year, where the expected move was only about 8%, and it went double that to the upside. You can see that big old red X up there. That's where it actually moved versus the expected range, which are these boxes here. And they do pretty consistently beat on earnings a little bit per share there. Get the full historical earnings data breakdown here. The 1-day move prior to the last earnings moved almost 4%, but the 1 day after move was down 8.5%. And then by the third day after earnings reported, they were down 13%. It's one of those toss-ups. I don't know what I expect to see for Nvidia. I don't have enough information on really how their sales have been in regards to powering AI for companies, et cetera. They're very much the leader in that regard. But right now we're kind of in sit and wait mode until we get some numbers. Snorlax, I don't know if you saw any hyper specific NVIDIA Flow. It's kind of hard to do NVIDIA Flow on a good day, but on an earnings day, it can get spicy.
Just came across the 144 next week, which are down. I mean, these are probably opening. I could see what volume goes from like 1,000 to 54, 57. So that's like 4,000-ish. But I mean, that's a ways out, right? 6% out of the money. I did see one. I saw like a pretty ambitious spread earlier, I want to say. Or was it? I think it was it was the 149, 155 weeklies. So, well, hold up. Maybe these were closing. It could have been a roll down, I guess. Yeah, I guess it could have been a roll down. Yeah, it was probably a roll down. Yeah, so maybe not a spread. Who knows? Net premiums are just kind of a wash right now. Implied move is what? 5 3/4. Oh, looks like we're
5.72.
closed. So I guess we just wait. I guess we could just keep going over some of the flows while we wait. So we were looking at ones with changes in open interest. Oh yeah, we were talking about Uber. I think right before we got cut off there. Let's just go back to Uber. This thing loads. Give it a second. Computer's freaking out.
Right now, no after hours movement in NVIDIA. They're just towing the line and
It's
waiting.
not going to be for a little bit. So yeah, the Uber 95s.
And while we wait, folks, if you have
July,
general flow requests here on YouTube as well, something you saw or you want to look closer at, just let us know. We're just waiting for numbers like you all are here. All right, go ahead. My bad.
Yeah, Uber 95 Julys. Were these from yesterday? Yeah, so I saw some more SMH puts from yesterday, but I don't know. I don't really think that SMH puts are a great signal. The Reddit calls yesterday, I think these are, yeah, so some Reddit 110 Julys from yesterday. Change in open interest was there. Box earnings play from yesterday. So I guess while we're here, we can talk about these earnings trades / insider trades. People always are like, they're looking for like the $1 million trade, but like it's not always going to be $1 million. It's going to be sometimes the entire day's activity is going to be $88,000 for a $34 contract. In another case, what was that one from the other day? Ticker starts like an I. Yeah, here it is. Infa bought by, what was it? CRM, I want to say. So like in this case, back May 15th, May 16th. So you notice how there's 12,000 volume here. We're just rounding 12,000 volume, 12,000 new open interest, 16,000 volume, rounding again, 16,000 new open interest. So someone had loaded 28,000 of these Infa June 2022.5 calls at $19, $26 here. Total transaction, so their entire play was like 24K here, 42K here, so what, 66K? So that's their 66K, which they
Real quick,
the buyout
sorry.
price I think was 24.
Sorry to interrupt.
Like
CRM is ripping at this moment. CRM is currently up 5%, bouncing around between 4 and 5% right now. Let me get mine off screen here since you got a big CRM. Let me see. Salesforce CRM adjusted earnings per share 258 versus 244 expected year over year as well. We're looking at A revenue of 9.83 billion for Salesforce. CRM definitely reacting. Can you give that one a clicky poo? What was their imply? Oh no, it's right next to it. I'm blind as shit.
See it right there.
Yeah,
Six
6.18%.
and
So we're
change.
still outside the implied move on CRM. But it's a nice little bounce. Let's see what happens. FRS says, how does Salesforce correlate with Nvidia? Salesforce is just also reporting today, and they just reported. Somebody asked about NVTS. I'll do a follow-up on NVTS after we get some more earnings excitement. I want to see what Nvidia does before we go too tangential in our conversation, but I will bring the update on NVTS. That thing was wild, and it's still wild. That whole thing's still open. All right, I will interrupt again if there's anything super spicy, Snorlax.
Yeah, maybe just wait till the thought's over, just because like the train of thought is kind of getting interrupted here.
Yeah, fair. We are live though, so
The
it's
point was, here.
Let's see. Nope, still CRM just bouncing around. C3 AI
Elf
reported
taking
a
a
bit.
shit, down 10%.
While we're still waiting for
Sentinel 1 down
Nvidia.
6%.
Jai Cairo asked if we have a correlation function. We do. It is, I'll just drop the link. It's just straight up unusualwhales.com/correlation. This is what that bad boy looks like. You can type in any tickers you want to compare them, as well as different time frames from 5 days to 5 years. Nvidia's got a little bump green. Nothing spicy yet. Nothing spicy yet. Elf Beauty. Oh man, didn't that thing meme for a while? Like back in the day?
I had a pretty explosive move from like a single digit to pretty high. Alright, so what was closed? So some stuff that was closed yesterday. Some of the Google 200 Octobers were closed. 32,000 volume on one day, 32,000 open interest the next, and about 8,000 of them were closed yesterday. Let's see here. UNH 270s that saw some activity yesterday. These were a close. See a pretty steep decrease in open interest. I'll actually just get rid of that from my watch list because I don't need that anymore. SPY 582 puts were closed yesterday as well. Some flows on May 21, May 22 closed yesterday.
C3 AI just tapped its implied move of 11.74%. Currently up 11.
Getting up there. Nvidia still flat.
Sentinel 1 is getting
Vive.
bodied.
I feel like it always does.
Yeah, implied move of 9.71. It's currently down 12.
Oh, so it looks like
We got some spam there.
so they were buying the ARM. Well, they still are on other strikes, but on this particular one, the ARM 115, June 2027. So we went from 0 open interest effectively to at its peak, what, like 16.5 open interest, and it looks like they're now slowly just 800 So 900, 800. I mean, I guess that's 900. 900, 900. We'll round to 900. 900. We'll round again. With decreases in open interest. So it looks like they're taking some tiny profit here. I mean, they were buying like 2,700 contracts in one go. But it does look like they're taking some profits there. Let's just flip back here. C3 AI still pumping. Nvidia still nothing yet. That's it for changes in open interest. Tumbleweeds in the chat.
Yeah, just got a lot of back and forth of Nvidia to 150, Nvidia to 105. But hopefully it's not so dramatic. Come on, guys. Let's let's be positive.
Am I blind? Oh, there it is. Couldn't see it for a second. It's right there.
C3 AI is now above the implied move. Was there any
Let's
AI
see.
flow at all?
Let's take a look at what was most traded today for AI. So if you just look at this, you might immediately jump to this 27.5 that had 10,000 volume, 3,000 open interest. However, 98% of all of these contracts were a multi-leg trade, so I'm sure it's going to be not exactly as everything seems. So we do have this volume right here, but again, very high multi-leg percentage. Let's see what they were trading it with. I'm just going to pick up the premium here. So if I just click any one of these, I'm sure it's all going to be the same chain. Yes, they were probably rolling down the 28.5s. I'm assuming they're rolling down because there's quite a lot of open interest on these already. And if I flip back, I'm sure I can just see. Yeah, so they probably went in on these 3 days ago. But these themselves may also be a multi-leg trade. So it honestly might just be, yeah. So when they opened the 28.5 weeklies, this was also a multi-leg trade. So like, it's just like a bunch of convoluted nonsense that isn't actually flow. I'm sure if you go on Twitter, someone probably posted these saying that they were flow, but like it's not really. Like there's just too much going on. It doesn't matter. It's not real flow. But what did the net premium look like? So I mean, I don't know. It's not that's not real flow. I mean, like this 26 weekly is much more quote unquote real, I guess. We have 5,400 volume, 2,600 open interest. So that's like the ratio is much better there. Much smaller percentage of multi-leg activity. So was it this candle that was multi-leg? So we have a 3,000 candle. Let's just see the entire feed. Yeah, so I can see, given all this multi-leg activity before the 3,000 candle, I know that the 3,000 candle wasn't a multi-leg trade. Yeah, so the 3,000 candle paying up like 83 shortly after 152. So that's them right there. So they're gonna need 27-ish bucks to like even think about making any money. So they're a long way from home. Elf of minus 14%. Nvidia unchanged effectively. Let's look at Vive. Vive, a nice big move. I feel like I've never seen Vive. Could be mistaken. The Flow might look bearish, but I guess just by glancing at this, does it look bearish? I guess it's a wash, so. Yeah, I mean, I'd call it a wash today, especially.
They've got about 7 minutes until earnings, assuming they're releasing at 4:20. Maybe Jensen's listening to some Grateful Dead while he pops the papers out. Somebody did ask if Nvidia having good earnings and going up would move the markets. I mean, you can't say for sure. I've got correlations up now. You can say probably. There's a 0.77 correlation between Nvidia and SPY. I suspect it'll be a little tighter for QQQ. 0.8. It's pretty close. But generally that you know, you get above 0.5, you're looking at a correlation. The closer this value gets to 1, the more correlated it is. So to answer your question, most likely. Sing, you're killing me, bro.
Dude, Jesus. All right. What was this elf multi-leg trade?
C3 AI is going, man. It has blown through its expected move. Currently sitting at plus 16%.
Elf spread got blown out. 100-105 spread. That is cooked. What other earnings names are there? Sentinel. Let's see what Sentinel had going. So they're shortened to 17.5 weeklies for a quarter. They need a quarter. They need 17.25 to stay even. So I mean, they're basically there. Assuming they're short. I don't know. How does that do historically? Historically, doesn't really. I guess you could just sell the straddle. If you sold the straddle, you'd probably do okay on S.
Damn, what happened to them in quarter 3 of 23? Sorry, quarter 2.
Got clapped.
Damn.
What happened here? Quarter 2, 23, quarter 2, 23, quarter 2, 23. Where's that? Might not actually be. It's because like those. So the chart sometimes is a little bit weird because like it goes off like I think what was the reason, like some of the quarters, the reporting quarter isn't always like the fiscal quarter, I think. So like it might not be relevant to what I'm thinking of, but yeah, I don't know. Still nothing, eh?
Nah, I think it's supposed to come at 420.
Ooh, HPQ minus 16%.
It had earnings per share for HP.
HPQ, if you put a gun to my head, I mean, just by looking at this, I might think it was leaning bullish, but again, don't just trust the net premium chart. Actually look for some contracts that look like they're buying or selling. So I mean, maybe the 24 put bid side, I mean, not much money there. Yeah, I mean, nothing really here stands out, I guess. So perhaps.
What did C3 AI do? It's still going, plugging up toward 20%. Implied move of 11.74. C3 AI brought the spice.
They used to be like over $100, I think, back in the day.
Oh God, maybe that quarter 2 of 23. That 30% dump.
All right, so let's see here. Nvidia's implied move. What do we say? We said it was 5 3/4, right? So implied range of like 127 to 142, give or take. Might be kind of small to read. We can zoom in a little here.
AI's posted
so
earnings
plus
were
or minus. What's up?
AI's posted earnings were not that great either. Negative 16 cents earnings per share versus an estimated positive 20 for one example. They're just going.
Still nothing, eh?
1 minute, supposedly. I'll probably let you take main commentary. My dog might be barking here in a
Presumably.
minute.
Let me see if I search Twitter, if anything comes up here. Mm. What time? What time? Okay, people are saying 420. I'm seeing a couple accounts saying 420. Going up? Oh, nope, we're going down. Going up. We're going down.
Dude, HP is getting
We're going up.
shafted. All right, we got some Nvidia numbers. And kind of a cricket reaction so far. Here we go, bouncing up, up and down, and up and down.
137 plus. Still looking for some numbers on Twitter. 134. I don't see anything yet. Maybe they're not out. Just algo trading right now.
Discord bot just fired. Q1 adjusted EPS 81C, estimated 93.
So it looks like a top, or hold on here. Adjusted EPS. So the adjusted miss, or is this the wrong? I'm looking at the wrong account here. Okay, so we have a
Let me
top
pop
and
it open
bottom
here. I've
beat, it
got her.
appears. Yep, go ahead.
Got her on screen here. We've got revenue 44 billion against an estimated 43 billion. Earnings per share 96 cents against an estimated 75 cents. So we've got a little bit of a ticklish beat. And Nvidia is up right now 2.5%. Not super dramatic. Remember, the implied move is 5.75%. Give or take. So we'll see if they fall in or outside this time. Kind of a mixed grab bag historically for Nvidia, as we looked at earlier.
Well, it looks like if you just like didn't short it, you might have been okay.
What was the implied volatility looking? Usually for Nvidia, they're pretty spicy going into earnings. Still plugging along, up 3.5% now. But like I always like to tell people anyway, I'm not much of an earnings player personally, but if I do, I tend to wait for guidance in the call more than the initial reaction. All right, Snorlax, I'm gonna let you take over here. My dog is going off at something.
Yep. Recent Nvidia flows, not from today. The 131 weekly short, that looks like it'll be fine. They're writing these for 440 a piece. So the break even on those would have been like what, 126 and some change. Doesn't look like we'll be getting there, so that should be all right. How do these guys fare tomorrow? I mean, these might have some life yet. I assume we see an increase in open interest on the 144 next week. Should surely see an open interest increase tomorrow. This one's probably a long ways away. They might have closed and rolled these, maybe. Possibly, yeah. We might see a decrease in open interest on these. These might have also been rolled. If they did, what did they roll them to? Oh, nope, different. Could be a much more complicated trade here. Yeah, so who knows?
So somebody had mentioned and asked about NVTS earlier. New article on the Unusual Whale Substack. Just hit that with a nice spicy Google and you'll find it. NVTS is up 10% in after hours along with Nvidia's earnings drop.
Did they mention them by chance, or?
I don't know about in the earnings report itself. I'll head on over to their site and see, but I kind of doubt it. That deal came just last week, so I don't know that it would be included in their earnings report itself. Maybe in guidance, that would make sense. Maybe if they give a nice little call. But let me pop open.
Is that what? Do you remember that one contract for NVTS?
Oh
Or
yeah, the
here it is, the
$4 call. Yep,
4C.
it's still open.
Looks like they're still open. Yep. So they were coming in again. I was saying that the $1 million flow is not always it. In this case, it's 1 point, or not even 1 point. It's just 135K.
Yeah, the only thing that made that stand
Uh,
out was the historical. It had no volume historically, so that one order was 10 times the 3-day average at the time of the fill.
Yeah, so as we can see on May 16th, NVTS 4 strike call expiring in June had 6,800 volume. If we look here, that day it was trading 12x normal volume. So if we assume that a 68,000, if we assume that this is a singular trade, which it pretty much was, it was pretty much 68%, or 68% of all daily activity on this one contract for the name as a whole. I'm sure if we look here, we might see a big gapper on the 16th. Is that the 16th? Yeah, so the 16th right here. So actually, the activity was so small in comparison. So like obviously it's kind of ripped now, and there's like a much more when the stock price is this much higher, there's obviously going to be more premiums involved in the options, which is why this is the flow that we're looking at right here. It looks so small compared to now, and that's because the stock price is what, like, it went from like $1 and change to 6+. So like obviously the options get more expensive. But yeah, these are in at 20, and they're gonna be, it's like a 10 bag. It's disgusting. Yep. Still, obviously the night is young, and much can happen between now and the open. Nvidia did find its way into the 2027 June mega buy everything flows. We have the 135. I think we have the 110s here that they've actually been kind of taking some profit out of. So we have in April 29, April 30th, May 1st, about, what is that, like 7,500 volume. But it looks like they've closed maybe, I'd say 2/3 of the position. If we're assuming their position 7,500 large and they've closed 5,000, yeah, I mean, they don't have much left, it looks like. What is the 105? What is this one here? Why do I have this saved? 4.8, some big flow. Is that the reason why I have this thing saved? 4.8. Yep, 4.8. I think they closed these though. No, they didn't. They're still open. All right. Well, is there anything left? Anything else to talk about?
I didn't have anything else spicy. You already kind of tagged on the got a nice little pop on the NVTS commentary. I will drop in the YouTube chat and the Discord chat that article. There's also a video breaking it down on the YouTube channel here, so y'all can have that. Other than that, I mean, I wasn't really tracking anything else spicy. Just that NVTS I caught on the 16th that obviously was spicy. I wish I got in that. I did not. To the homie accusing me of trying to pump my position. I'm unfortunately not in it. But kudos to those who were, because it did look like there was some chasing on it in the days that followed. And I think there was like one other strike that got tickled too after the fact, but they were much more close dated and nowhere near as impressive. I think they got like 100% or something, but this homie's sitting at 2,000 plus. Did you already look at ARM earlier?
Not specifically. I guess we could just look at. I mean, ARM is this also has the 2027 flows.
Yeah,
I think I'm
yeah.
tracking a couple of them.
Somebody
Let me see.
asked about the 130 for 2027. That is now firmly in the money, but not so deep in the money. I would instantly say boring arb.
Yeah, so we got some of the June 105s that they bought 4,000 of, 2,000 of, sold 2,000 of. 115 that they have, like we just mentioned. I know we did mention that like 10 seconds ago. I'm just so stupid that I can't remember. So they went from 0 open interest effectively to like 1,600, but now they've, in the last 2 weeks, they've closed 900, 900, 900, 900. ARM 125 only buys 2,500, 2,500, 2,500, 2,500. So basically 10,000 rounded. And then the 130 people were talking about, I guess there's so many 2027 flows. Like I
Yeah, the
don't have all of them
130.
added. Like, so if I sort by expiration and I'm just looking for 2027, like we have,
Yeah, that's
you know,
the one.
this one's not doing too hot. We
No.
have AZN, AstraZeneca, Nvidia 135s that we talked about. Google 160s. How are these doing? Yeah, so these 3,000 size buy on May 13th for 10 million. Yeah, so you know sometimes you're looking for the million flow, right? But sometimes you're not. You're not always looking for the million flow. Schwab 0 open interest to 14K on these 85Cs. Booking Holdings 60 volume, 60 volume, 60 volume, which doesn't sound like a lot until you realize that the contracts are frickin' $125,000 a piece. Yeah, now 980s, 1,000 open interest, MasterCard 560s, just like a singular day of about 1,000 volume. Looks like they're still holding. Microsoft 440s still holding. ARM 125 we just went over. ASML 0 open interest to 1250. Well, I guess it looks like they took some profit here. So they sold some here. So they still have about 1250. Home Depot, you know, the list goes on. The list goes on. AMD, UNH, Nvidia, Pinduoduo, PGR, VRTX, Melly, etc., etc. So there's a shit ton of this June 2027 flows, which everyone who is bullish is kind of anchoring a lot of their bull thesis on, I guess I could say.
So, real quick, something that might hamper Nvidia movement despite the positive looking earnings. First off, the Q2 forecast from Nvidia. Let me just pop this open from Unusual Whales proper. The Q2 forecast has a reflection of $8 billion in lost sales to China. And they were unable to export their H20 to China and saw a $4.5 billion change in Q1. But the reason that that is significant is, where is it? Trump just, like right before earnings, went ahead and said that U.S. chip designers are to stop selling to China, per Financial Times. So it's you know, a little bit of a wall to run into there, possibly, which might explain kind of a, you know, good earnings and a less than spectacular crazy move. But I mean, if you didn't short it, you probably currently, you know, until the call, you're probably, you know, not in panic mode by any means at this moment. But just wanted to bring that up for context. That was a bit of a muted move from Nvidia from what we've seen in recent reports.
Yep. All right, I think that is going to do it. Sorry for the late notice. We weren't sure if we were going to do this, but I guess we did. All right.
Hey,
See you
Raj,
guys.
we did check CRM back toward closer to the beginning of the stream. We had a big little tickle on CRM as well as when their earnings dropped. But all right, everybody, I'm going to get out of your hair here as well. Thanks for kicking it with us. We'll be back next week for another Flow stream. We'll go over some things, go over some Q&A, some questions people had. I'll also do another mini tutorial on using Periscope for scalping specifically. But yeah, thanks for coming, hanging out with us, and looking at our earnings reactions today. And we'll be